My dear fellow listeners and viewers, good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat is a Canadian initiative with a global impact. There are a few different ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on the regular dial, that's the radio, 102.7 CKMS FM. You can listen to us on Rogers Digital Cable, for those of you who have the Rogers Digital Box. And of course, we're also live streamer Chit Chat here. So do take the opportunity to share a page. We ask you to stay with us if you would like to learn a thing or two. However, if you're looking for an opportunity to vent out negativity, this is not for you. Tonight, we have the very talented Rory Jagdeo, who we have had in this show here before. So, Rory, welcome to the show again. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Narine, I'm doing pretty good. It's great to be on your show once again. Um, it's been a beautiful day here, and so yeah, was looking forward to seeing you tonight.
All right, same here. I mean, it's beautiful as well too. Nice and sunny here. So
Yeah,
maybe later on I go for a walk when we're done here. So welcome again. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself again, just in case of people who may have missed it when you were here last time, and then we'll take some time to talk about your new book that you have out. We talk about that, and and I know that our viewers and listeners, they love the musical aspect of what we do. We're going to talk about your new musical initiative as well, and so much more. So take it away, introduce yourself back to us.
yeah. My name is Rory Jagdeo, and I was born in Farish Village, Quarantine, Berbice, and so I lived in the village until I was almost 20 years old before I venture out into the world at large. So I spent most of my childhood in the village in 1 square mile, and so it's been quite a journey just to be growing up in this environment. And even though in the past I have complained about it, but you know what, it was the best. It was the best life. It was the best childhood. I don't think kids who are born in the US or Canada, they probably never have this opportunity to be in the wild and things like that. So basically, yeah, I'm a Guyanese, and living in the US now since 1981.
Awesome, thank you. I'm sure you love it there, and to a point where you actually wrote a book about it. So we're going to talk about all of that. So thank you for that introduction, by the way. Very much appreciated. I mean, when you were here last time, you did, took some time to talk about the book you wrote and why you wrote it, and you definitely have some unique, stories in there and all of that. So before we get to the musical aspect of what you do, and before I start to feature clips of yours and so on, take me back to the book that you've written. Give us some highlights about it. In terms of feedback you're getting as well, to maybe why you've done it, and do you have any regrets doing it or anything of that kind? I don't think you do, but share anything along that line.
Yeah, sure. Actually, uh, uh, just so that people know what the book looked like.
Mhm.
And actually, I took this photograph that's on the cover of this book. I was walking into the wild one day, and I saw, some cows in a pasture, and I took this picture, and I didn't know that I would capture the sun rays coming down. And after I saw this picture, I said, you know what, this is going to be the cover of the book. And so the book is called Walkabout, Searching for the Epic Life. And it's a Guyanese memoir. And so the inspiration came about writing this book was last year in April 28th. My brother passed away from COVID-19 in New York, and that has been a very devastated experience because, I mean, it touches you at home that we never expected that a family member so close would actually died of COVID, right? And after that, come in May, I decided to, you know what, I am going to write a book on my childhood, my story, my journey, because I finally realized that, you know what, we are not guaranteed to be here. Uh, and I mean, we're living from one day to the next. And so that was my motivation to write the book. I had very good response. A lot of my friends have a copy of the book, and they were very excited that I can depict, you know, life in the village, and I describe it as closely as possible with my long-term memories, which my long-term memories are pretty good. I mean, I can actually see the events that happened, like um, started since I was a teenager. And even a friend of mine who lives in Toronto asked me to send, you know, have him get him a copy of the book. And I went to the post office this week and tried to post the copy. And you know what? They were charging me something like $22 just to post a book. So I told him, hey, man, you need to get this on Amazon. It's a whole lot better, you know? Um, and actually, he was a person uh, that I mentioned into the book because we used to have what we call the Firish ball field. And we spent like endless hours in this ball field. And they had a store right next to the, like a cafe next to the ball field. And so I wrote quite a little bit about the way we hang out in the ball field and what we do, and you know what life was like. And so a lot of my friends are very excited to go back into that space and to have somebody write about it.
Mhm. So what's the feedback you've gotten from, from people so far?
I have gotten very positive feedback
Mhm, mhm,
from the book. Um, a lot of the feedback I get was that how I was able to, you know, to write, you know, a book that's about 254 pages, you know, as a memoir. And the way I started the book was with a celebration. I was actually leaving to go to a school in Toronto, Canada.
mhm.
And so the book started with my friends. We were in a bar, in a rum shop, drinking and with our guitar, and we were celebrating my farewell party. You know, and my friends who are still alive, some of them are in Canada, in New Jersey, and a lot of the folks were very excited to be able to read once again about how this setting was, and they can act. I tried to write the book so that it would create a picture. You know, you can actually see, you can see the environment, and go back into that space. And so, and not only that, but a lot of my American friends, a lot of people I don't know um, that even purchased this book, they have sent me a lot of positive comments, and a few people would tell me while they were reading the book, they wish the book wouldn't come to an end. You know, they just want to keep on reading about it. So that was kind of very encouraging to you know, to get those type of feedback.
Awesome, awesome for sure. I mean, when you were here, you did definitely share bits and pieces of it and so on. And I'm glad that you actually took. I mean, I know you've lost your brother, and as you mentioned earlier, it's not an easy thing. It's not something that you guys, prepare for. Nobody prepare for these kinds of things,
Yeah, no, nobody
especially in this
prepared.
kinds of situation, right? And so I'm still happy though that you were able to put a positive spin on things. And we are going to talk, reflect a little bit about the pandemic at before the end of the show, the end of it. I want to know how you're coping with all of this, because I mean, the bottom line is the COVID is still alive and it is still strong. And so we still have to pay attention to it. But let's get into the musical piece, because I have no doubt that music keep you alive. This is what you do best. I mean, prior to the pandemic, you were all over the place performing. In fact, you came to Canada and performed on our show, the Caribbean Dreams.
Yeah,
So
I have to say that was That was the best thing to do coming into Canada to play at the Caribbean Dream concert. I was very honored that you invited me to come, and I I met so much. I met all your family, even, and
Yes, yes. And you discover some people who you haven't seen in a long time too,
yeah,
right?
I've discovered some people. I remember when I first came to Canada, there was a Canadian family who were Irish, and they practically adopted me when I was in Canada. Uh, and I have not seen them since I left Canada in what, 1976, right? And
Wow,
and I was able to come back and visit, and had dinner with this family once again. So
look at
so
that.
that was a very positive trip coming to Toronto to play.
So you go to show, and that's how you try to say to people. So when we do this musical thing, it's not only with the musical aspect of it, it's what it does, right? And it goes to show that the music brought you here, but you were able to connect, with some people that, I mean, you probably, I'm sure you guys are still keeping in contact, right? You better don't lose that contact now.
No, I don't. I've been in contact. We've been talking on Facebook, and so that's been they even warned me that, hey, we need to at least have a conversation once a month or so.
There you go. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about your musical piece. I know you've just done a new song, a very nice title. I like the title, A New Resolution. I'm going to get you to talk about all of that. But what I would like to do first, before you get into all of that, let me feature this clip so that people can have an idea of it, and it will set the musical tone for us here, because music is what you really, really love, and you're doing it so well. And the unique thing about you is that you also play instrument as well, a very unique instrument, by the way. So,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Yeah. So let me feature this clip so that people can enjoy, and then you are gonna tell us all about it um, after.
A silent stream flows under a bridge, a peaceful feeling I never felt before. Sweet little birds flying against the wind, they're going home to sleep in their nest. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new year, it's a new resolution. Changing
Usually I don't like to cut it off, and it's
Nice.
nicely done. It's a new year, new resolution, So tell me all about that. What made you put together such of a song? Because, usually when I listen to a song, I make sure I listen to the meaning of the words. And I mean, we need something like this. So tell us why you've decided to put together something that's so much needed right now.
So, um, I would say about 2 years ago, I was walking on a trail and I came upon this bridge, and I stood on this bridge, and I was looking at the stream running under this bridge, and something struck me, that even though the stream was flowing, it was silent, and I can felt this deep peace inside, just being in nature, and with the trees and the stream running, and um, right then I know that there is a song that I think I would like to write, about embodying this meaning, and to bring nature into it. But the thing is this: I never knew where this song would go. I didn't have a title that it would be a new resolution, but the idea was born while I was walking on that trail, and I was on that bridge and looking into the water. And so, within a couple of weeks, I've been the melody kept haunting me in a way, and so I began to start putting the words into this song. And what happened was that, I would say, about over a year, I have not touched this song. I kind of like put it away, but I would say starting around February, I I pulled the lyrics out, and I rewrite a lot of the lyrics, because I started to think about the beginning of this year, and I can see that what would be my new resolution. And um, what happened is that what we're going through, I find that we're at a point in human nature that we are going through an evolution without we really sometimes realize it.
Mhm.
I think there is an evolution that's going on in the human race, and because our lifespan is short, sometimes we don't get to see that evolution. But I think and I think with COVID too, I think it's having a big impact as how we are evolving. And so I try to incorporate the hidden meaning. So what being an artist and writing poetry, sometimes there's a lot of hidden meaning behind the words, and sometimes I let the audience make the judgment as to what I'm trying to say. Like I want you to read between the lines. I
Yeah.
want you to interpret the song, or interpret the lyrics the way you feel. You, you know that would make sense to you, right? And so I may totally have a different meaning, but when you uh like analyze the song and the words, right, it have a different meaning to you. And so the song was I was trying to incorporate a lot of things that's happening into a person existence today. Like the first verse is like being in nature, finding peace, right? The second verse is like uh, when love comes along, don't close the door. Open your heart. Um, open your heart. Forgive. Um, the third verse is going into that people are lost in life. We don't know why. But I see it as a waiting game, as if we have the cards in our hands, and we have the ability to say, to make that call, or to take that chance, or take that risk. The funny thing is, I always think that you have to take the risk to sometimes get where you really want. And until you take that risk, you may not be able to find that peace of mind. So I try to embody a lot of that into this song.
You brought up a good point there. I like that. Um, in life, we must, if we want to kind of really, maximize, our potential, we must be able to take risk. I like it. We
Yeah,
cannot be
no,
too comfortable.
yeah, you have to jump into that fire, man.
That's right. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's for sure. I like what you said in the song that when love comes along, do not close the door. So,
Yeah, no, that's true because you never know what you will find, right?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Let me quickly say hello to a few people. I wouldn't be able to see, my Rogers and Song FM people, but to the online people, let me quickly say hello to Christine. Thank you so much for taking a sneak peek, and thank you so much for sharing a live feed. I'm sure our guest Roy appreciate that for sure. Um, Raul, watching from the USA. I hope you're enjoying the warm weather there. It's getting better there now. Melissa, thank you, Melissa. Um, and thanks for the comment as well to Michelle Singh. Both Michelle and Melissa, both of them will be joining us, by the way, on our diversity and inclusion concert on the 27th of March. And one thing I can tell you guys is that this will be the best show we've ever had. I can tell you that much for sure. So it's a show you wouldn't want to miss. I know there are a lot of things going on, and so on, but that's the show you don't want to miss. That's for sure.
Maybe I should come on board and play as well.
Absolutely, of course, we'll be happy to have you on. That's for sure. We'll talk about that after. I was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
talk to
yeah.
you about that afterward. Ormala, thank you for taking a sneak peek. Shanta lives locally here. Do know that we appreciate all of you. And again, to our Rogers, and Song FM people, do know we appreciate you. Just that we are not able to see you right now, but we always appreciate you as well. So, you don't have the video yet. You're the thing I like about you is that you're always working in something. It's my kind of style, I always have something going on. So when I see people continuously, doing things, especially with this pandemic time, people need to make sure that, they're keeping themselves active, they're keeping their mind, going, you're not stuck, because it can really affect, us mentally and so on. You have a very unique song out. You do have the video for it. It's a brand new piece. I will feature it though, and we'll let people know how they can get a hold of that and so on. But tell me what influenced you to write that, because I find that when you put your thoughts on paper, all the words are meaningful words. It has a unique story, exactly what you explained with the first one. So tell us about this new one.
So, so this new, so I would call this a new project, and
Sure. Yes, yes. It is a new project,
yeah,
but we'll still want to give people a little sneak
right,
peek as
and
to what to
and
expect.
so it's pretty funny. The So the song is not released basically in my name, but I'm releasing so the song is releasing it as if it's a band called Cockeyed Jumbies. And you know what jumbies are, right? And you know what's when somebody have a cockeyed.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes.
we were just brainstorming, and we came up with this word. Oh, what's a great name for a band? And I came up with Cockeyed Jumbies. And so there are musicians who are anonymous in this band,
Mhm.
and so you don't know the names of the musicians. I didn't sing on the song, so but I wrote the lyrics and the music for the band,
Mhm.
and I give them, and I give them total freedom to, to go with their creativity into the songs. And so that's how the name of the song is called Caught Somewhere in Time,
Mhm.
and it's by Kakai Jumbies. But the song is inspired from a dream, and it's about finding yourself in a dream in between time and space continuum, and you met this woman that's divine, and she's got magical powers, and I think is a fantasy of every man. You know, you want to fall in love with this goddess or
Mhm. Mhm.
this person with power, right? So so from this dream, that is how this song came about, caught somewhere in time. And and I think I mentioned one time as well that since I was a teenager, I was fascinated by rock and classic rock music. And that happened after I seen when I was like 14 or 15. I saw the movie Woodstock, right? And since the day, I've been really fascinated by rock and hard rock, and so I really love that genre of music.
Mhm.
And so, "Caught Somewhere in Time" is basically a rock ballad, and so it's available iTunes, on Spotify, and you should be able to play it on Bandcamp. Um, and so I would love people to have a listen of what this new music is.
Yeah. So let me kind of play it, and so that way people can have an idea as to where they can have more information of it and all
Yeah,
that.
cool.
I wouldn't play the whole thing. I'm just gonna a little bit of a sneak peek here, so that way they can have an idea. So I have it right here.
I was caught somewhere in time. Baby, I can see that you're divine. Gave you my heart and my soul, my all. Don't hold back, this is my call. All I need is a little bit of your attention. Hold me close and whisper your confession. I can hear your voice deep inside. I can see the stars in your eyes. When I hold you, I feel so alive. I've been drifting, trying to survive. So glad I found you in my dreams tonight. I've been guided by your light. My weary eyes hunger for love. Soul is
All
pure.
right. So let me just pause it there. Let me just pause it there. At least people have an idea of it. So you told us a little bit about it and as to how it came about and so on. So when can we expect the total production of it in terms of completing, the project exactly how you guys want to, so to speak?
Oh, so the thing is, I as far as videos and stuff like that, truth, I don't have big. We don't have big finance for videos because those things can be very expensive.
Hmm.
Even the video that I did on a new resolution, that was something me and my partner we kind of go around with our iPhones and took videos, and we tend to make the video by ourselves. um, very low budget, and that's kind of fun. So by being in the pandemic, I find an outlet to go out and with my phone and make and clip videos and put them into a music video, right? So that was kind of fun. As far as this new project, what's it's not really sometimes making the videos, but what it is, I will be writing more song, the music, the lyrics, and I get this anonymous band to perform these songs, and so I release it under the name of Kakai Jumbies as the new band, and I usually call it the Ghost Band, so which is kind of an interesting concept.
You mentioned about using the phone and so on, but I mean, one thing we should mention on here, just in case if people don't know. I mean, like I have not myself, but everybody else. Like I have, a bunch of family camera or different kind of camera we used about. Like this camera, I remember the
Oh
very
yeah.
first time I bought here in Canada was like 2,500 Canadian dollars and so on. Right now, people wouldn't pay me a penny for it, right? Right. So and it wouldn't do what actually a phone can do, believe it or not. So I want the people to know that the phone can do a good job if you use it well. So sometimes people get mixed up, and especially people here in North America, there's absolutely no need. I mean, certain part of the world is different, right? You have to drive and go
Oh
to a
yeah.
studio. People tell me, oh, they're going to a studio because they probably don't have access, which is okay too. Probably don't have access to technology and all of that. Even though I'm doing, like I'm doing my show right here from home because of the pandemic, right? And we have a radio station that has been about for over 50 something years, and it's not an online radio. You can listen on the dial and TV and so on. But the thing is, the radio station wouldn't be able to constantly upgrade with technology, with all the different equipment on an ongoing basis. But me as an individual, I probably will do it because I know, well, that's mine, my pieces, right? So my home will have better equipment than the studio, right? So sometimes when you hear the word studio, it's not necessary, like you're thinking that, oh, they're going to the studio. Most people have home studio now. So the fact that you talk about you guys do it together, I think that's a great thing. You're utilizing, your resources you have. And I think in this pandemic, and I think once people watch our show on the 27th, the diversity and inclusion concert, you
Uh-huh.
guys will get it, and you guys will we do it in such of a way that people will know that this is the pandemic time. The quality and everything is great. Even the professional singers that we're going to have here, I'm talking about playback singer, will be using a phone to do their stuff here. They're not going to go to any particular recording studio. They'll be sitting on a regular chair like how I'm sitting here, or in their living room and things like that. Because we are in a different time now. We are in a pandemic time. We can't just make things look So that is totally fine. So I like what you've said there. But I just thought I'd share that because the camera that I show you there,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's there, it's working and so on. But I mean, eh, it doesn't do as good job anymore. That's quite a few years ago, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah, no,
Good
no,
stuff.
you're absolutely right. I mean, I have video cameras and things like, and we just go out. We go by the water, we go by the stream, we go by the river, and we take our iPhones and we shoot video clips, and then we bring it back and we put it together and said, hey, we didn't have to spend like maybe $5,000 to make a music video.
Mhm.
I mean, I know it have its limitations. I mean,
Yes, of course.
yeah. When you have professional does music video, it's so much powerful and things like that. But in this era of what we have, we
That's what
can,
I
like
meant.
you're
Yeah,
saying, we can go where we want to go, and so we make the best of what's available.
for sure, for sure. And I think that's where we are getting at that. Um, you know, concern the fact that we are living in this pandemic here. We have to be creative and find ways to still make things work. There's no question about that, right? So it is what it is, but we still have to kind of carry on to kind of do our stuff. Like, I mean, I have IT guys working for me, but I actually intentionally said to them that that's okay. We are going to do our stuff our own because we can get IT guy to kind of take full control for when we do our show on the 27th. But um, we want to we like to do the hard work.
Oh yeah.
I think you have to feel it if you want to be part of something. I think you really have to get into it, kind of thing, get dirty, kind of thing, right? So that's awesome. So I will feature back this song that I played earlier, and if there's
Hmm.
anything you would like to add to it, do that, and then we definitely want to talk a little bit about I want to ask you, how is it that you're dealing with this pandemic? Because you lost a brother. I mean, I've known people personally, that who had to go through that. In fact, I've had people on this show and things of that kind. And then a few people shared with me privately that they were going through that challenging piece and so on. I mean, I was kind of surprised and not surprised too because we know that it's a global thing, right? But it's still shocking when you hear somebody has it. It's not a crime, by the way, especially when you know the person, right? It kind of hit home a little bit. So let me feature this one more time, and then we'll
Sure.
uh, um, touch on this a little bit more.
A silent stream flows under a bridge, a peaceful feeling I never felt before. Sweet little birds flying against the wind, they're going home to sleep in their nest. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new year, it's a new resolution. Changes will come, for better, for worse, is an evolution. La 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 la. When love comes along, open your heart. Don't close the door because of foolish pride. Forgive those who ask for your forgiveness. It's your life, so follow your dreams. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new year, it's a new resolution. Changes will come, for better, for worse, is an evolution. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. People are lost in life, they don't understand. It's a waiting game, the cards are in your hands. Take a chance, have no regrets, for in the end you'll find your peace of mind. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new year, it's a new resolution. Changes will come, for better, for worse, is an evolution. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
All right, nicely done. So anything else you want to add about that song there will be great. And then I definitely would love for you to share with us how you're coping with this whole pandemic situation, because you are an outgoing individual prior to this pandemic, you were all over the place performing and doing so well. And I mean, now, just like everybody else, we are forced to do things a lot different. Take me back a little bit to that song, and then I want to hear how you're coping, especially the fact that you've lost, somebody very close to you, your brother.
Yeah. So no, I was very excited and very pleased the way the song came out. I had no idea when I started to record the song, and I've got some really good people to perform on the song, so that was very important as well. Um, Even though I didn't, I mean, I have not recorded anything for, geez, over almost over 4 years, and so this was very exciting to pull this song out that I've written for a long time and give it a new spin in this year into this new year. And so this was like being like a new year resolution, starting into 2021, and really um, is really hoping that 2021 would be a better year for us. And as we evolve, we evolve into, uh, better people. Um, we evolve into being uh, more loving, showing more kindness, being forgiven. Um, you know, because I think our human our human nature right now. I think everybody is looking for, for a connection, because we're not having that. And I think it's so important that we're able to show that to our fellow uh, men and women. I think is so important. So I'm hoping with the music that when you hear like the song, the melody, the words, it helps to make that connection within, and that you can sing to that song, and somehow it will make you feel like, give you maybe a peaceful feeling, or it'll make you, let's say you were stressed out, or you were like going through a lot of things, but sometimes when you hear a song, it tends to make you drop all of that,
Mhm.
and maybe be more present, and be more grounded when you hear a certain song.
You're so right. Speaking of that, I mean, I don't do music. I mean, music is just a love thing for me. But I actually you brought up a very good point. I actually I'm doing a study on music right now, and I've chosen the American Dreams, their theme song, to kind of figure out why they've chosen to put together the music in such a way and all of that. And the reason behind every single thing, when you listen to music, when you listen, to the words and all of that, it can really take you places, if you know what I mean, right? And so it's a really good therapy, music itself. A lot of social workers, therapists, and all
Oh
that,
yeah.
they're using music and arts and so on as a therapy right now, more now than ever, especially now. Right? So everybody's contributing in so many different ways. So you go to show, and you talk about connection, that everybody's looking for a connection, and I get what you're saying. I totally get it. But I think it goes to show that we are all connected in different ways, though, right? Like if we try to connect everybody, like speaking of connection, in a different term, we are all connected in some shape or form, because even the therapists will depend on people like you to produce good music, where they can make that recommendation and say, okay, well, let's sit down and listen to this song and tell me what you like about it. Does it mean anything to you? And all? So we depend on people like you too. So you see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only music. I
Mm.
mean, even like you mentioned, the therapist, right?
Yes.
And they're using like what they call expressive art,
Yes, right.
and so
Correct.
and so it could be drawing, it could be poetry,
Hmm.
it can be playing an instrument, it can be having a drum circle. Like people
Hmm.
just make random noise with drums and percussion,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
just to get you out of your head, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
and that's what therapy is to
Yes.
get you out of your head,
Yes, for sure. You know,
And
yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
No, you brought up a good point. You mentioned with the drum circle at our workplace before, at one of my previous workplace, they've decided apparently they want us to do a little bit of a team exercise, and they
Yeah,
brought in somebody to do the drum, the group, the drum circle thing, and I was hammering that drum, any beat, right? Just the kind of thing, it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing because you're not focusing on anything else, because when you are in social work and you're constantly hearing not so pleasant stories and so on, it can get a little bit too much, and people who are serving those clients, right? So it was a nice relief too, to just hitting on those drums.
oh yeah, it is a stress reliever, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. So, well, thank you for that. I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Let's get to this whole pandemic thing, though. Especially, you have lost a brother, and I know I mentioned it a few times, but I get it. I lost a brother as well too, not because of the pandemic, but I kind of get it. I understand it. Um, how are you coping? With this whole pandemic thing, knowing that you used to be a person where you're always outdoor, always doing things that you love. You're still doing the stuff that you love, but it's just that you have to adjust to do it differently. How is it you're adjusting with this whole thing?
Oh, I tell you, you know, funny thing is, I've always been an extroverted person, and sometimes my partner told me, like, when the Sagittarius kicks in me, you know, I get reckless and impulsive, and you know, and that what happens sometimes is like sometimes I can't, you know, it's like it's been too much. But this in my life, I never believed that this something like this could have happened in my lifetime, where I felt like, you know, my freedom is taken away, and there isn't somebody out there that take that freedom away. It's just this invisible enemy, you know, that took our freedom away. And I think the biggest impact was, you know, my brother, you know, he has just retired, you know, after working over 25 years for the New York Transit. And he, you know, and his name is Steve, and he was a preacher, a pastor, and he had so many plans to, you know, to do so many big things after his retirement. And he had this the COVID, and everybody think that, you know, it's just like you know, like a mild cold or a flu, and you'll get over it. And within a couple of weeks, I mean, it took him down, and it infected. He got it really bad with the lungs infection, and it practically shut his body down.
Wow.
But the biggest impact of it was my mother. Even though it's almost like a year, she hasn't stopped crying almost every day. I mean, every time I talk to her, she practically cries for him.
Mhm.
I mean, I've never seen anyone grieve for someone the way she does. And so my brother always wanted to write. He's a very good writer, and that was like a big inspiration for me to write the book as well.
Mhm.
But I'll have to say the pandemic has changed me in a very big way, because I had to be able to like stay in one place and make you know, what can I do positive, instead of, like, say, being negative about this situation, is try to do things that can bring something of value. And so so that was the reason why I was able to write that book. I think without without the pandemic, maybe I wouldn't have been able to write the book, because I hate writing, you know. And I was able to sit down and really focus on that. The same thing with music too. I'm starting to think outside of the box, you know, and see how I can do things musically, because I'm not able to play. I'm a street musician. I play in the street, I busk, I play in bars, restaurants, I play in farmers markets, you know, and I haven't been able to do any of that over a year practically. And so that's been a big, I mean, I've been very sad about that. Um, Even I do have two kids who live in Houston, Texas, and I live in North Carolina, and I have not been able to see them for over a year as well. So, I mean, so with all of that's going on, I think the biggest thing that's going, not even with me, but I think I think with the world and many people, is that we are so not able to connect with with friends and family like how we used to do. And I think and even wearing the mask, you know, you go in a grocery store, it's like you can't see people's face, you can't see their smile, right? And it's like people are so afraid to have a conversation. And some, so those are the things you have to, we're learning to cope with. And that's what I said, maybe we are going through a human evolution right now.
Yeah. So I was speaking with somebody earlier today, a woman I never met, and she says that that this pandemic has done a lot of good things, right? And so I can understand where she's coming from that way. I guess what she's trying to say is that we live in a fast-paced war, or and we were constantly keep going and going and going, and don't necessarily kind of pause and kind of see what's going on around our surrounding and all of that. And now it's kind of given us that opportunity. I know prior to this show, I said to you, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have not been as successful as I am. And so I know it might sound stupid to some people, but um, I'm better off, in so many different ways because of the pandemic. So I guess because we don't have much control over it. I guess we have to find a way to kind of cope with it. But on a different kind of note, based on what I'm seeing and hearing, and from clients and things of that kind, is a very challenging time for a lot of different people, because a lot of people have lost their jobs, and
Oh
not
yeah.
able to provide, and then it gets a little bit messy and so on. So the world is in a mess right now. And we can still say that because it's not about me or any particular
Oh,
person.
oh,
I'm talking generally speaking, it is still a mess. There's no question about that. But the reality is, it is here for, it's not going anywhere. The pandemic will stay here for a while. The experts are already calling for a third wave, so which means is that we have to do exactly what you said, that we have to learn to kind of just to live this way, at least for a while.
yeah. It's is trying to evolve with what's going on.
Mhm.
And oh, and I mean, we're hoping that the vaccine would be, you know, will help to, you know, bring things back to a certain normal again. And I mean, that's the only thing we can pretty much wish for, that at some point we'll be back to normal and not having to wear the mask again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. 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 Yes, for sure.
I mean, to tell the truth, I hate wearing the mask, man.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I just have to do it, you
Yeah.
know.
No,
But
I know what you mean. It's a whole different, maybe mentally, it's like a whole different thing, right? I totally hear you, the mask thing. I totally get it. So listen, I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It was pleasure having you on when you were here the first time. Tonight is no different. I want you to know that I appreciate you again, sharing, some personal stuff, and I understand how challenging and hard it can be. I would encourage you to continue to do what you do, because music itself, it's a good therapy to cope with a lot of different things. And so though life is difficult for you too, you are in better shape than so many other people. Not too many people have that kind of coping skills and all of that, right? And so sometimes you have to look at it that way. I'm sure there are many things you probably would have liked to say that I didn't ask you. Do go ahead though and take the opportunity to say any last minute thing that you would like to say. Now is an opportunity to say it.
yeah, no, the only thing I would want to say is that um,
You go
I'm
ahead, man. Take your
grateful.
time.
Can you still hear me?
Oh
I
yes,
see.
I can hear you. Yeah, you go ahead. I can hear you
Oh,
nice and
sure.
clear. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that I'm grateful to be who I am. And I would say that for us not to set unrealistic goals in life, to the goals we set should be we should be able to achieve them. And um, And it doesn't matter what goals we set in life. If it doesn't happen, let's not think of being a failure. I think being average is good enough. We don't have to be all the way up there. I think just being
Mhm.
uh, and I think um, whatever brings you happiness, I think that's what brings success actually. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'll leave you with that, is that try to be content, make the best of what's there, be happy, and that would lead you to the bigger things.
And what a good way to end the show. Whatever makes the individual happy. You talk about contentment. I've done individual video and everything you've talked about. So that's very powerful pieces you've said there, and I'm glad that you took the privilege to share it on here. So that's awesome. Don't go anywhere though. I do have a question for you off the air, so hang in there. All right. So my dear fellow listeners, I want to, before we officially wrap up, do remember that on the 27th of this month of March, we have a virtual concert, a very unique concert for you. We are not asking for anything. We are just hoping that you have the time to watch it. It will be at, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Ontario, Canada time. It will be a really great show. We have, we are calling the diversity and inclusion concert because we want to hammer the importance of diversity and inclusion. And we'll explain all of that on the day of the show. But we have a very unique show, lots of interesting artists. And so, from people who will be performing for the very first time to playback singers and all of that, it'll be very, very interesting for you to tune in and to watch. That's for sure. But as we are officially approaching the end of tonight's program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. Please remember to tune in to us again next time. We're going to have another special guest. On behalf of myself and our guest here tonight, Rory Jagdeo, both of us would like to join together and wish you a great today and even a better tomorrow. We'll talk to you soon.